What up? Coach Mike, yesterday we talked about telling your story and making somebody feel that story, including them in it, and telling it in a way where they feel like they're part of it and are inspired by what you're doing now, even though you went through all that stuff. And that's what I want to take you guys through today. I'm going to practice my own story, which is an honest story, and I know I've kind of gotten through this before. I remember it was about 20 videos in, I told you guys that, I went through something very hard in my life where I was in jail. And so, if you haven't heard that already, it might be a little surprise to you. And I was so scared that people weren't going to accept me. But people really did. That was my biggest lesson, guys. And this was like 15, 20 videos ago. Is I took a chance. If you just tell your story and give people the opportunity to comfort you, there's power in that vulnerability. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable. You've got to take a chance on people. Okay? Here's my story. It started when I was 13 years old. I was in a family that had a hard home life, and I had a friend who showed me alcohol. And I discovered that I could take my pain away. I started drinking at age 13. I started sneaking it whenever I could. And I know that's a really sad thing. And 14, I was skipping school because I didn't have anybody to look up to. I didn't feel like... I just wanted to rebel. I felt like the world was unfair. I felt like everything that everybody was telling me, I didn't need it, and I was going to learn it on my own. It was by 16 where I ran away from home, and I slept in public bathrooms. I slept in parks, and within about 2 weeks I got kicked out of high school for truancy. Now I moved in with a friend, and I found a home temporarily, but it wasn't any better. Both me and my friend enabled each other, and we got in trouble more than one time, and eventually we got caught at the high school for skipping, and that was the day I got kicked out, and for truancy that was final. It was my last warning. I was expelled, and he got in trouble too with his mom, and his mom decided that she's taking him to treatment. That was the only place I had to live, guys. And my mom had to pick me up after finding out that I had gotten in trouble even more. I still wasn't taking care of myself. I got kicked out of high school. She drove me to treatment. And I could just tell, even though she was disappointed, that she loved me. And she saw hope for me. And I went through treatment. I completed that. I was sober for a little while. And then I got back into bad habits. And I just wasn't being responsible. And at 18, that's when I got arrested. I accidentally hit somebody with my car. Nobody was seriously injured. I tried to stop. But I had 2 speeding tickets that were unpaid and I had warrants for. And so when the cops showed up, they wanted a statement from me and they took me to the station. I said, of course, because I just want to fix this. The person didn't want to press charges, but the state picked it up because I made a statement, I incriminated myself, right? And so I had bail, and nobody could pay bail for me. Nobody could pay me to get out of jail while I fought my case for innocence. And I spent 2 months in jail with murderers and robbers and even people who wanted to come back to jail after they got out. That was their plan. And it was hard for me, and that was my enough is enough moment. That was where I had had enough. And I was so surprised that, my mom was so strong. Through visitation, she would cry with me. She shared my pain. And I know it must have been impossibly hard for her to go through that and see me going through such a hard time. I know that I needed to straighten up. And even though what happened was an accident, I still have to take some sort of responsibility, because I wouldn't have been in the place that I was in if I was making all the right decisions. I wouldn't have been, who knows where I would have been if I would have been doing responsible things and making the right choices and hanging out with the right people. I knew that I needed to fix my life. And that's when I started taking responsibility. As soon as I got out of jail, I should rewind it a little bit. While I was in jail, I discovered Les Brown. I would read his books. And I discovered that he wanted to buy his mom a home. His mom, his adoptive mother, loved him through everything that was hard. And he was adopted by her. He was found in an abandoned building. And I don't know the details of the story, but I was really inspired by that. And I thought, if anybody's got the best mom in the world, I do. It's because of her that I understand what love is and what forgiveness is. It's because of her that I understand what it is to look at somebody who's broken, abused, addicted, and hopeless, and to still look at them and see a chance. And that's why I have this thing in me where I just feel like anybody can make it. And I know everybody says if I can do it, anybody can do it, but truly, I feel like I've been through so much that I can relate to almost anybody, right? And if there's something that somebody's been through, or that you haven't been through, most likely you can tell somebody else's story about how they got through it. It's not all about having this painful story, guys, but what I want to communicate is it's about wanting something bigger than yourself. It started with wanting to pay my mom back for all that she did for me, for all that she invested in me. If it wasn't for her never giving up on me, even through those moments where there was people telling her to give up on me, and I'm sure there was moments where she wanted to, but she never did. And I'm so inspired by that. I can't help but feel like now is my time to do something. And it all started with showing her that I can make it. I got out of jail and I joined college right away. And I became an A student. I was on the dean's list every quarter. After that, I got a job as a salesman. And I held that job down for 2 years. Once I graduated college, I got a career job right away. And I became a coach too. And I had this dream that started with wanting to buy my mom a home. And it expanded. After my dad left us, and me being the oldest, I realized that it's up to me now. It's up to me to give my family security if something were to happen. And that may sound like a big responsibility, but to me it's a blessing to be in that position. It's a blessing to be able to give back and be grateful that I was saved because somebody believed in me. So now I want to spend my life saving other people, giving other people hope, motivating other people, no matter where they are. I know there's a chance for them. And I believe it can be done through being a coach. I can believe it can be done through finding something that you're passionate about, even if it's not coaching, even if you've got your own dream on the inside. I want to help. I want to do whatever I can to help you be successful. And my dream transformed and became greater than just wanting to provide for my family. I wanted to help 1 million people. I know that's the dryer. It's got some like weird ringing thing, whatever. But so that's my story, and I'm here now, and I'm doing a lot better. I gave up alcohol for a year. I know that's not for everybody, but I believe God put that in my heart. You know, I'm not smoking or doing any of those old things that I was doing before. I'm not hanging out with the old people that I was hanging out with. I've changed my life, and now I want to help 1 million people. That's my new goal. I want to help over 1 million people, and I know that number's really big, and how that's going to be possible is between me and God, you know. But I know He keeps on dropping these ideas into my head and how I can potentially do this. And if you guys develop your story and share that with other people, and then you have a vision for where you're going, and you use that story to inspire others to say, I want to do something special for somebody. Is there anything that you want to do for someone special too? Is there anybody that you feel like has invested in you and has changed your life that you could give back to? Maybe just start there, and your dreams could grow bigger. But master your story, guys. I still got to work on mine. But it's about don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It was the scariest thing, like 15 videos ago, when I actually told people what I had gone through. But I found out people were willing to accept me. So share your story, guys. Develop your story. Even type it out first, and then practice it. And this is me doing this like for the first time, sharing like the whole thing, and I'm just winging it, you know. So don't be afraid to like not be perfect, you know. I mean, half these videos after I make them, I'm thinking, oh, I could have done that better, you know. It's all part of the process, guys. You don't have to be perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good. It's not about where you're headed and being happy when you get there, but it's about what you become in the process of this whole journey to getting where you want to. Okay? So don't give up. Share your story. Share what you can do for other people. Invest in others. Care about them. And create a vision for them. Help them have a vision. Help them create their story. Inspire them. Okay? And be consistent. Don't give up. And don't try to be perfect. Okay? I love you guys. Peace.